So I have built a deck that I think is a great call for this metagame. I'm going to go over that very shortly. Just want to go over some... Actually, no, let's get right to the deck. So it's Esper control with green for Abrupt Decay. So we're rocking a similar blue-white cards to a blue-red control deck. Snapcaster Mage, Mana Leak, Path to Exile. The addition of black really changes things up though. We're running a lot of discard, Inquisition of Kozilek and Thoughtseize. And we've got different removal in Abrupt Decay and Doomblade. And we're running Telling Times to filter through the deck. They might just be a little too cute. Might be replaced with a Sphinx's Revelation or two and maybe another removal spell. And for kill conditions, we've got Vendilion Clique, and we've got Restoration Angel, Snapcaster Mage, and Celestial Colonnade. So I'm going to go over the deck choices and why I think it's appropriate for the current metagame. We've got the 5 main deck discard, because they are generally good against combo and against control. So the blue-white-red, this hits them a lot harder than anything blue-white-red has against control. So that's how we're packing the 5 discards main deck. It's also good against the twin combo, it's good against Scape Shift. Not so great against Affinity, but we can't get everything we want. But if we try sometimes, we get what we need. Restoration Angel is a really efficient beater in this format. A lot of the removal comes in the form of burn, and 4 toughness is huge. Can't be lightning bolted, can't be lightning helixed, can't be electrolyzed. Needs to be pathed, but the blue-white-red decks aren't even running 4 paths all the time anymore, which I disagree with, but all the better for me playing this deck. Our kill conditions, Restoration and Vendilion Clique. The reason why we're using those two, in addition to Snapcaster Mage, is that they have Flash. Being able to play on your opponent's turn to work around their counters is huge. It's really good against the control decks. It's good against the combo decks, because you don't have to tap out on your turn to start throwing down win conditions. So you can leave your Mana Leak, your Snapcaster Mage, your Cryptic Command up. Vendilion Clique also acts as an extra discard effect against combo decks. Then our removal is better than blue-white-red against this metagame, because Path to Exile... Well, blue-white-red's using Path to Exile too, but Abrupt Decay is great against Splinter Twin. It's great against Black-Green Rock, because some of their creatures like Tarmogoyf and Corsair are out of burn range. Then we've got Doomblade, which is important for opposing Restoration Angels, opposing Kiki-Jikis. So our removal is a little more focused. We can't use it as a win condition. Also notice I'm playing this one little Crucible of Worlds here. I just wanted to try that out. We can lock some people out with our Tectonic Edge. It also provides us card advantage with our fetch lands, and it recurs our Celestial Colonnades. And we take a look at the sideboard here. Got the 4 Stonies to shut down Affinity, shuts down Tron if you get paired against that. I played some Affinity matches earlier, and I just got turn 2 Stony Silence both games. My opponent had a Mox Opal, a Darksteel Citadel, a Springleaf Drum, and a Memnite out. So he needed to attack me 20 times with the Memnite to win. Got Rest in Peace. This is for against Storm combo, against Tarmogoyfs, and against Living End, which isn't super popular right now, but it could be. And for a combo, we've got the 3 Duresses and the Thoughtseize. We've got Grafdigger's Cage against Pod, Abrupt Decay and Doomblade when we need extra removal, Supreme Verdict when we want a sweeper, and this greedy little Cranial Extraction here, which I am wanting to play just because I can cast it against Scape Shift, and it feels so good to Cranial Extraction, Thought Hemorrhage, whatever effect you want to pick against a Scape Shift deck. There's just no better feeling in the world. The card realistically should probably be a negate or maybe another Duress, but I'm greedy, so I'm rocking this Miser's Cranial Extraction. So this deck I think is good for the metagame I've just outlined, but we need to think critically about what this metagame means. So my small sample size is saying that the popular decks are, again, blue-white red, both twin and control, Pod, Delver, Affinity, black-green rock, and Scapeshift. So do I think if you took this deck to a smaller local modern tournament you could do well? Yes. Does that mean I think you should play it at a PTQ? That is a different question altogether. And the reason why Pro Tour qualifiers are different than regularly scheduled modern tournaments is that even during modern seasons, most of those smaller modern tournaments are going to be made up of modern players, as opposed to just players borrowing a deck for a Pro Tour qualifier. So that means they've all got their favorite deck, they've picked it out, they've tested it, they've probably had it since modern inception or at least within the past year, as opposed to Pro Tour qualifier players, and a lot of them will just play anything they can get their hands on. So something like Affinity is a fairly cheap deck, and so you might expect to see a lot of that at a Pro Tour qualifier as opposed to a regular modern tournament. And you need to be prepared for that. You need to be prepared for the masses. So you'll want extra artifact hate, for example. Other popular decks at Pro Tour qualifiers it will always include decks that have done very well recently, since Scapeshift has won the last Modern Grand Prix. Then that should be a deck that's out in force. Blue-Red Splinterton will probably be a more popular Pro Tour qualifier choice than Tarmo Twin or any form of Kiki-Jiki Blue-White Red control, just because it's cheaper, it's easier to get a hold of the cards, and it's a lot easier to play. It's very simple. There will be a lot of Birthing Pod, because it's widely regarded as the best deck, but at the same time, Birthing Pod is a difficult deck to play, and people that don't know what they're doing are going to be picking it up, and you're going to have a fine time beating them. It won't be a problem. So there are going to be differences between a 30-person modern tournament and a 200-person modern PTQ, and that's something you definitely need to keep in mind. So if you're testing for the PTQ, I think the number one things you need to be looking out for are Affinity, because it's cheap, Pod, because it's popular, although, once again, players are not going to be great with it. Still, it is a powerful deck, and there's always going to be a few people there that know what they're doing, so you're going to want some hate against it. Living End could be another popular choice, as it's fairly cheap, other than the Fulminator Mages, and some people just aren't playing Fulminator Mage, as opposed to, like, they're using Blood Moon with Avalanche Riders, or they might just be playing the deck without the Fulminator Mages because they can. So in a meta of blue, white, red, Pod, Delver, Affinity, black, green, rock, and Scapeshift, I would gladly rock this deck every day of the week. I think it's really well positioned. It might actually be good at a Pro Tour qualifier. I'm going to need more testing. I actually just built it this morning. I did get some matches in. I beat Scapeshift. I lost a burn, which I expected. That's something that you might be playing at Pro Tour qualifier in the first couple rounds, but it's going to get knocked out early. I played 2 matches against Pod, won 1, lost 1. Played 2 matches against Jund, won 1, lost 1. And played a match against Blue-Red Twin, and I won. So the results so far are promising. White gives us access to the best sideboard cards in Modern. I'm kind of missing Combust from Red, which I would have in Blue-White Red Control's sideboard. But Abrupt Decay, stellar. I love our removal package. I love our win conditions. Just liking this deck in general more than Blue-White Red right now. because I feel it is a better metagame choice. So sleeve it up, try it out, and even if you don't like this, then at least you have a better idea of what the local metagame is going to look like, and hopefully I've given you a bit of an insight as to what a PTQ metagame will look like. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments section. Be happy to get back to you. That's all I got for now, folks. Thanks for listening. See you next time.